We continue tonight with our On the Road series, and this month we're looking at Northern Berkshire County and specifically the Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art, or MassMoCA. Opened in 1999, MassMoCA has become one of the world's premier centers for making and showing the best art of our time. Last month, I sat down with the museum's director, Joseph Thompson, to learn more.
The buildings are 150 years old. They were built as a cotton printing factory, the Arnold Print Works, 1862, and they had a good run, went through the mid-30s. R.C. Sprague came to town in the 30s, and from mid-30s on till 1985, 86 or so, it was the Sprague Electric Company. So we're the third. It's an interesting arc from real stuff, cloth material, it doesn't get more real than that, to capacitors and electronic components, which are in part about real things, but also in part about ideas and design and intellectual property, to what we do now, which is, pure art of the mind.
And the building is beautiful, the way it has been renovated and restored. What is the attendance like here?
It's growing. When we opened it, I think the first year was a little over 50,000, and we hopped up into the low hundreds, and last year we had about 165,000 here, fueled by the exhibitions. People come and they come back, but also by a really dynamic series of performing arts programs, rock and roll festivals, bluegrass concerts. We have a wide range of performing arts that take fully 50% of our financial and emotional and human bandwidth.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about what people can expect when they come up here. We are sitting in the Jim Shaw exhibit, Entertaining Doubts. And I'm looking around, and I'm having a lot of doubts as I'm looking around.
Yeah, it's a great title, huh?
But what other exhibits would you like to highlight?
Well, first of all, this Shaw is just a gem. Sebastian Schmey from the Boston Globe called it probably the best exhibition of the summer. We were quite proud of that because he called it that a month and a half ago. In the galleries downstairs, we're doing a really wide-ranging survey of photography today. It's a series of shows that sort of blows our conception of photography wide open. Clifford Ross, who makes magnificently detailed, super high-resolution landscape photographs and then takes small details and does extraordinary things with them, including projecting them on our interior courtyards to live music. So it'd be a great show. In conjunction with that, we're having two other photography exhibits that look at photography as architecture, photography as sculpture, photography without cameras. In other words, it's a view of photography that I think will surprise a lot of people. In the big gallery, just opening, is a really beautiful exhibition by Francesco Clemente called Encampment, in which 6 massive, beautifully detailed tents made from Rajasthan, India, will be set up in a little virtual village, and they're painted inside and out with really wonderful decorative and narrative painting.
You had mentioned also that there's a lot of music that people can enjoy here as well. What's coming up?
Let's see, a couple of things. Right around the corner is Solid Sound. It's our collaboration with the band Wilco. Jeff Tweedy and his colleagues curate a really amazing 3 days of music that ranges from rhythm and blues and jazz to indie rock and alt country. They have a very eclectic taste, every bit of it fueled by musicians with terrific chops, people like Richard Thompson, and it's a great group. So that's at one end of our summer. That's on in late June, so just a week or two from now. At the end of the summer, in mid-September, Fresh Grass, which is our take on bluegrass and American roots music today. Again, that's 3 days of music, wide-ranging group, Punch Brothers, wonderful, really wonderful musicians. They all come. Those events draw a lot of people to North Adams. For Solid Sound in a couple of weeks, and we'll have 8, 9, 10,000 people a day here. Tickets will still be available for day tickets anyway. And Solid Sound too, or Fresh Grass too, draws a really great audience.
And that's a big crowd, for the city.
That's a big crowd. That fills every hotel and motel within 50 miles of here. It has a really big economic impact on the region, as you might imagine.
Right, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, about the economic impact of MassMoCA. What have you seen since being here since 1987?
Well, MassMoCA was founded as sort of with a two-headed mission. It was certainly to be a museum, and an important one. We focus on what we think is the most important art being made today, but we really try to leverage that and to bring jobs and to sort of improve the life of our neighborhood here, and we're making a difference. When MassMocha opened, unemployment was well above 15%. Unemployment in North Adams was 7.5 times the state average. And North Adams was on every list you didn't want to be on, in the #1 position for cities and towns. So unemployment, teenage pregnancy, domestic violence, illiteracy. I think North Adams owned the #1 slot of all cities and towns in Massachusetts just before we opened. We're not on those lists anymore. Things are better here. Unemployment is still too high. There's still too many people who don't have jobs, but I think the unemployment's about 1.2 times the state average, and downtown storefront occupancy has gone from 25% to 75%. That's mostly good news. That's a 300% gain. It still means that 1 out of 4 storefronts are empty, so we still have work to do, but things are a lot better.
Now you have another phase of construction as well, and describe that for me and what that's going to be.
Yeah. The numbers here are dangerous because we take it off in large chunks. It's a whopper of a project, 130,000 square feet of additional gallery space. So these are long-term partnerships that we are teaming up with artists and collectors to realize a few what we think will be really milestones of the art of our time.
So in addition to the concerts, you also bring in a lot of kids here for education programs. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we have a great series of programs. We're sort of the de facto art education department for the local public schools. Every kid in every class in every elementary school visits MassMocha at least 2 times a year, and for each visit here, it's more than a field trip. There's about 10 or 15 hours of curricular work that they do before and after the visitor visit. And they visit a space called Kids Space, in which we show art selected just for children. Adults like it too, actually. In fact, it's one of our most visited galleries here. And the kids just have a ball. It's a really robust program. You realize that over the now 15 years that we've been having this program, kids have gone through their entire elementary career up through 7th grade here. So they've had a dozen or 15 really meaningful, long-term, repeat engagements with the art that we show. The kids know that this art is far more accessible probably than their parents think.
And tell me a little bit about the art that people are coming to see. Maybe people might be intimidated to see contemporary art. They're used to something a little bit more traditional.
It's funny. Contemporary art is the art of our time. It's about issues that we're worried about and thinking about, and images that we find beautiful or compelling in some way. But it's true. A lot of people think they don't like it because it's something out there and not for them. All I would say is come. These buildings are so inviting and warm. It's something about the floors which remind people of a gymnasium, and the sort of chipped and fading brick and paint on the walls that remind people that for 150 years there's been work and workers here. I find it to be a really welcoming environment. We have great docents, and the art is often funny. I think our curators have really good senses of humor. You see it all around you. I think people will like it.
All right, Joe Thompson, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good to be here.